161 days ago, they became the first ever Element champions. When Challenger League was replaced and Element came in as the brand new shiny thing, Karn & Co. ended up as the champions. 3 players from that original team still remain on the roster, and now their playoff run begins. The problem is, their road to get here was a little bit rocky, as Wanted Goons enter with a better record overall, with higher ratings overall. So Connor, it definitely makes me wonder how this first matchup for Karn & Co. in playoffs is going to go.
We actually have a direct pathway back to see exactly what happened. You know, what would happen if these two teams played? It's the first week, the very first game of Element, where Wanted Goons came out and actually kind of destroyed and slapped Karn & Co. around, much to the absolute surprise of everybody here. Sure, they immediately, right after beating Karn & Co., lost to SSG Academy, but then for the rest of the series, where they were just able to destroy Centenegra's internet and then beat out Osiris, it's in stark contrast to what we saw with Karn & Co., where they really did have to fight and struggle, and even got dominated by Alpha Theris.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that that first game that they played each other, one, I don't think people knew to take Wanted Goons that seriously. They're kind of a group of unknown players on the rise. 2, they used a lot of blitz play, kind of cheese play, and that's a team that we've never seen before, so Karn & Co. had no idea how to expect that. And 3, Gunner, who, you know, former Sonics player, was filling in kind of last minute for Tristan, who had to bow out for personal reasons. So there was a lot less practice for Karn & Co. So I think that it's important to note that, hey, these guys can beat Karn & Co. I don't think you want to look at that and be like, well, they're just again, because I do feel like there's a lot of factors that played into that matchup.
I still think a lot of people will probably paint Karn & Co. as a heavy favorite, but let's talk about Wanted Goons first, because they made a name for themselves a little bit. I think I saw Exige, right, with the sunglasses and the fake mustache, suddenly showing up and trying to give this team an attitude for people who had no idea who they were prior to this. They were known as Poke Gang back when Karn & Co. faced them on Border. It was a 7-4 loss for Karn & Co. But whether or not we see that map even come back up in this ban phase, Connor, is something to be determined in just the next couple minutes. So we'll see if it comes up again.
Yeah, I don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure Wanted Goons would want it that way. But with Karn & Co. go it, I don't necessarily think so. But as Wanted Goons, they were just a massive surprise to many people. Like Super already said, they're upcoming players that we didn't quite know about. All of a sudden, you have Exige and Scoob being some of the highest rated players in this entire tournament, and it's just almost mind-boggling when you have just these players that nobody knows about. They're absolute hidden gems.
So, Seth, walk me through this. The one upside for this team that I can see is that they've already won a best of 3. So if nothing else, they've got the chops. They're able to complete a whole series that isn't just a best of 1. The downside is they're a 3-1 team, but one of their wins was a forfeit over Centenegra. They didn't even get the full slate of maps that the majority of 3-1 teams would have gotten prior to playoffs. So is that going to be a problem, the fact that they just got one free forfeit, or do you think they should be fine in spite of that?
I do think it's important to note that, hey, this is technically the only team left in the tournament who's only won 2 games. And then, you know, you think about, hey, this is a group of unknown guys. They're kind of unproven, right? They only have one real win that was impressive, and that's over Karn & Co., which, you know, Karn & Co. themselves were dealing with some issues there. So I think we're in a situation where it's a little... they kind of still need to prove themselves, even though they already have by being here.
Yeah, and even so, you might want to say with Osiris, I think that's another nice win for Wanted Goons, especially because 7-2-7-4 is a lot more dominant than the 7-3, 8-7 overtime that was required for Karn & Co. to beat that same Osiris roster just a few days in a sort of a gap. So overall, Wanted Goons, sure, they might only have 2 wins because of that blessing of a forfeit, but overall, beating Karn & Co. and beating Osiris, typical staples and just core players that we see in tier 2 constantly, shouldn't necessarily be looked down upon.
I'm really curious about whether the barking I'm hearing over Super's mic is coming over the broadcast.
That's Karn unleashing the hounds, I'm telling you.
That's
Gunner. He might not be on the Sonics main team, but he's in the backyard. That's him. He's unleashed now. It's time.
Somebody in the back's got that dog in him. Let's talk about Karn real fast. 3 players from that Element 1 winning squad are still here. The big man himself, Karn, kicks row, and we can't not talk about this team and talk about Wi-Fi's contributions because he had one of the fastest aces in Element 1 that I think I've ever seen. But again, they're in the playoffs, which is where we expected them to be, because you don't think a team that won the previous iteration of the tournament is not going to get back to this point, but it was not an easy road. They had some series that they lost. There were some best of ones that they couldn't capitalize on. Connor, talk to me about their path.
Yeah, it was a very rough path, mainly because they immediately went down at the hands of this Wanted Goons team. That was a sort of a wake-up slap moment that I really expected to fully kick Karn & Co. into full gear. And then as soon as they bounced back, they destroyed Dilemma, they destroyed Aerial Arise, who once again was another playoff team, sure, just now eliminated, still a playoff team. I'm thinking, oh yeah, Karn & Co., they've got it easy. They have bounced back, they're going to make things strong again. Then they get absolutely blown out by Alpha Theris, who we now just saw fall in the first round of playoffs at the hands of SSG Academy. Sure, the Osiris game was close once again, but Karn & Co. have earned their spot here. And with everything being said, you look at this roster, you want to say that this should be the most dominant team, probably one of the favorites. But when you have rosters like CLB and maybe even SSG Academy hitting stride at the right times, it starts to put a little bit of an asterisk, a few question marks next to this Karn & Co. roster.
Yeah, you look at the team of Karn & Co., and to be honest, I think they're coming into these playoffs, a little bit worse than I think the Karn & Co. we saw before, even if you want to say, hey, maybe they upgraded, because in my opinion, Gunner's probably the best player. He's certainly the most accomplished player in Element 2. So I'm curious to see if now that we're in the playoffs, now there's been some time throughout the season and the break for them to keep practicing, if this is going to be Karn & Co. kind of rolling into playoffs, giving us a better, more improved version where they've had more practice time. Gunner's gotten used to the Karn & Co. system, and that they're just kind of maybe go out and prove a point here against a team that did beat them, did embarrass them really, because it was a shock to all of us, and say, hey, it was nice that you got that win. Enjoy your time in the playoffs, but this is a one and done.
Well, Connor, let's check on how Gunner's been doing so far in Element 2, and let's compare him to Scoob real fast. We did an entry comparison back for the previous series, and we're going to do it again because that is the sexy stat, but the big point to prove here is that Scoob is trying to get this Wanted Goons team up to a point where they can beat a team that's got a whole bunch of Element winners and a LAN going pro on it at one point. So how well are these guys matching up against each other?
These stats might be a little bit skewed because once again, Scoob and Wanted Goons played one less BO3 as well as one forfeited game less. So for Scoob to still have that big of a number in just a couple of maps is incredibly impressive. But Gunner 72 across 7 maps means he's dropping double digits every time he loads into the server, despite any of the results. And once again, Super, I'm sure you can speak mountains about what Gunner does on the entry and how he's able to get so many engagements.
Yeah, I think the thing that's interesting about Gunner is if you were to watch him on the Sonics and you watch him in this league, he plays the same. He's what I call a 1-for-1 player, and some of you might say, well, that's kind of, are you dissing him? No. What that means is that Gunner's going to get a kill every round, and some of those rounds is going to pop off for 2 or 3. And every now and then, we all know Gunner's going to make a play where you're kind of like, well, what was he doing there? The truth is, though, when that works out, the round's over before it even starts. The team of Karn & Co. play a little bit slow, but Gunner, he's kind of a one-man band running around taking fights. I'm curious to see how Wanted Goons want to deal with the early aggression of Gunner, kind of playing to an opposite beat of the rest of that team.
Well, before we get them in the server, we got them both in Discord calls to talk about what they think about this matchup. Let's hear what they had to say.
I'm Exige from Wanted Goons, and I play the Flex IGL.
My name is Wi-Fi, and I'm the Flex player for Karn & Co.
The biggest thing we've learned throughout Element 2 is we just need to play our game and not worry about counter-stratting or being worried about what they're going to do, because in all reality, teams need to be worried about what we're going to do. Just have fun with it is really what it is. As long as we trust each other and we go into our plays and do what we need to do, nobody can stop us.
When we won E1, we had a lot of prep time with Nick and Packer. We had we meshed together well, but we had Sean for 1 day before E2 started, so it was kind of messy at first, and you can see with our losses, but I think as the tournament goes on and we get more reps in, we're just getting better and better every day.
More freedom, more fun, more chaos. We have fun. And I think that's the scariest thing, is because all these teams are calling out being super scared and serious about everything. And hey, yeah, we're going to have fun and we're going to be serious about it. But at the same time, we're going to be laughing every time we kill you. I hope everybody knows that that's scary. When a team's having fun, it's hard to beat.
I think with some of the role changes we've had, I think you can expect a lot of explosiveness from us. I don't think you're going to see the same team as we've had in E1 or in the group stage. I think we'll be able to show you guys something new.
Looking at the match history, they took it personally that they lost to us, and all of us just laugh because, again, statistically speaking, they should have won. I hope the same thing happens and they lose again. And it's going to be funny because we're just going to still cheese our way to victory and they're going to be pissed. That's what I'm excited for. I want to see the drama.
Our first match against them, we took it with a grain of salt because, you know, we came into the group stage wanting to try out some new maps for us and maybe some new strategies and ideas. We learned from that. You know, obviously some of them didn't work, some of them did. It's playoffs now, so it's a completely different game.
I mean, every team's going to say they have eyes on grand finals. If you've made it this far, the main thing you want to do is get to that big game that shows that you're the best in T2. Everybody wants to get to that point. I think for our team, it's an opportunity to continuously prove that we're not a fluke and that we do deserve to be one of these top tier teams inside T2. Can't wait to put these big names down in the dirt, hopefully. Everybody can beat anybody. I know that my team's skilled and gifted, and we can beat anybody in this tournament. So grand finals is the goal. No matter what happens, I'm happy with what we've done, and I hope we get to continue showing it.
I think all 5 of us on my team, you know, we have something to prove, especially this season. Me, Karn, and Julian, we beaten Pro League teams before. You know, we won Element 1 before, and we didn't get picked up to Pro League. You know, we got passed over. So I think us 3 as a core, you know, we got something to prove. You know, Giddy's got something to prove. I think Sean especially has something to prove too. You know, getting dropped from Sonics, and you know, he's trying to get back on a top team in NA. So you know, we're all out for blood here.
Look, when teams make their intentions as crystal clear as that, it really does a lot to set the stage. Wanted Goons, according to Exceed, aren't going to take this seriously. They'll try to cheese where they can and get a dub. Karn and Co are coming into this as the reigning Element champions. There's going to be a lot more pressure on them, but at least for right now, Connor, it doesn't seem like Wanted Goons have any pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, and that's almost where an animal becomes most dangerous, when it has nothing to lose. Because sure, for Wanted Goons, you know, they're a good team. They do have good mechanical skill. They know how to get aggressive at the right time. But when they don't have any pressure on their shoulders because they aren't putting any pressure on their shoulders, it's just they're a complete loose cannon and can be incredibly terrifying.
All right,
yeah,
well,
I mean, it's always good to be able to take it a little light, but the truth is, you know, they say pressure makes diamonds, right? If one team's coming into this game and they're joking around a little bit, and Karn and Co are sitting in here saying, okay, we're here to take care of business, one of those strategies is not going to work. And, you know, me, I'm more of like, I like the take it like a business approach here.
Well, for everybody who wants Karn and Co to try to at least have a good shot to go back-to-back, they're going to have to go through the gauntlet. And it starts here with Wanted Goons and the Band Phase. Connor, talk to us about what we might see here. Do we see Border? No, so the rematch from earlier on in Swiss is not happening.
Yeah, because as soon as Karn and Co played Border, guess what? It became their permaban. They did not play it the rest of the stage. They didn't like it. They don't like Cafe either. And with the Chalet Bank sort of bans for Wanted Goons, it does leave only a clubhouse that they don't necessarily like, meaning as they go in towards Oregon, it's an expected map. We know Karn teams have always had an affinity towards this Oregon side, so they're gonna leave it up always. And if you also leave up clubhouse against Karn, you dangle it in front of him, you know you're gonna go there. Both of these maps right now, Super, I know they're equalizers. What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting that we saw Wanted Goons kind of in the pre-game interview talk about how they're just going to cheese their way to victory. But then we go to Oregon and Clubhouse, which, to be honest, are more of the standard played maps. I don't think it's... I mean, these maps have been around for so long. How crazy can you really get on them? So I think it's an interesting strategy to say one thing, and then the maps we're going to, it's pretty straightforward. Even with a decider like Skyscraper, you know, that's a map with limited entry points. It's kind of every game you watch, a lot of teams are doing very similar things. So if the goal here is to cheese the way into victory for Wanted Goons, I'm a little concerned about the map pool that they've gone to.
The problem with a team like this inherently is just understanding what kind of pool they're going to have at all, because as much as experience they might have had prior to coming into Element, all of it gets thrown out the window when you have to face a really organized team that you already understand their map strengths and weaknesses. You kind of have to tailor a lot of what they do to what the existing Juggernaut team looks like already, right, Connor?
Exactly, but right now, if we look at these 3 maps, they're pretty solidly in Karn and Co.'s map pool, and on the side of Wanted Goons, Clubhouse right now is their most banned map going into this point of the season, and Skyscraper's not far behind. It's the 3rd most banned map that they have right now, rocking a 1-1 record. So I'm not necessarily very confident in Wanted Goons bringing them to these maps, but once again, we have seen the map ban phase not necessarily go the way that we want for teams, and at the end of the day, the better team will win right here.
All right, let's talk predictions real fast. We're going whole series. We're not just going map by map, because I think a lot of what we can say about one map will still apply, because Wanted Goons, if only because of what I'm seeing on Twitch predictions right now, are the underdogs. Do we also think the same, gentlemen? Seth, we'll start with you. Who do you think takes the series?
Well, I almost don't want to make a prediction because I just noticed I have a 69% win rate. Nice. But if I
nice
have
and chat,
to,
please. Thank you.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna have to go with the the boy gunner and the team Karn and Co. to move on to the next round with a chance to defend their Element title.
Biased analyst, Connor. Just from my standpoint, I think he's got a reason to say that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking with my brain. We're gonna go logically. Wanted Goons has beaten Karn and Co. Wanted Goons has beaten SSG Academy, who beat Alpha Theris.
Where are we going with this?
And Alpha Theris beat Karn. So that's double transitive property for Wanted Goons.
No, you gotta drop the transitive property stuff, dude.
However, this is T2, and the brain doesn't work all the time. I'm going with my heart. I don't see Karn and Co. losing this game. Sure, it's going to be close. I think it's going all the way to the decider, but I think as soon as we go towards the decider, the more experienced team will win.
Look, I appreciate the logical analyst approach, but sometimes it's just super simple. You don't bet against the people who very clearly have shown that they can be in their high pressure situations and still win. So I think it's the perfect trifecta for both games today. I'll take Karn purely based on principle. We'll see exactly how far these guys can go with what is essentially now a triple curse death. We'll get right into Wanted Goons and Karn & Co. Map 1 coming up next after a short break. So don't go anywhere.
Time for the big boys versus Wanted Goons. Karn and Co. They're looking like the favorites in social predictions. I think it's going to be a great one because if you have paid attention to Wanted Goons in the past as a spectator, you know you are in for one hell of a ride. Or isn't that true, Adam?
No matter what happens today, we're going to have an absolutely entertaining
No!
game. And there it is.
No!
Yep. Pound for pound, exactly what I said was going to happen.
Fun haters. They're fun haters. Get them out of here.
The Blitz ban, no surprise whatsoever. Karn and Co. witnessed the wrath of Scoob on Blitz on their first ever series. And again, Super and all the rest of the desk brought it up time and time again. Wanted Goons, they've beaten Karn and Co. before. But it was that Blitz that was a big stalwart as to why, and the Blitz will be gone.
Crying. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if another unusual operator is brought up. Not that Blitz is unusual, but to the degree that we saw Scoob bring it out, it was a little bit interesting. As we finish out these bans, nothing too crazy, leaves up the Mira, leaves out the Valkyrie, and also that Azami. So, right now, Karn and Co. versus Wanted Goons. Are you feeling excited about Wanted Goons? You sticking with Karn and Co.? I gotta get a feel.
I don't really know. I don't know how this game is going to go because I love it.
Your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Open and honest. Sometimes he'll talk to me and be like, yeah, I'm the worst player on this team. You know, I'm just here to support the rest of the four. They're all fraggers. And it's like, what? What? It's like he's a very dead honest person, so I take his word for what he says, and I do think that Wanted Goons are just going to have fun. They're going to bring out some unconventional stratagem. I wouldn't be surprised if that maybe throws Karn and Co. for a loop, but the desk said it best. These are maps that are very stalwart. They're very typical. They play the same, and they have played the same for many a years. I don't know what more you can do on this map, to be honest. I'm wondering how creative Wanted Goons can get. All I do know is that it is going to be an absolute show. We're in for quite the match, and it all starts on Ord.
There's an operator on the board, Adam.
There is.
He told this to me in the break. That Scoob told you that he does this thing called Op of the Week, where the last time these two teams played, Blitz was that operator. He went Blitz. Callie is apparently the Op of the Week, so I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you are ready for some sniper gameplay, because it is coming at you, and if he can make it work with the Callie, the bolt-action sniper, I've seen it all at this point.
Yeah, so Scoob will, or rather his team, will spin a wheel, and whatever that wheel lands on, that's the operator that Scoob plays.
I still can't believe he's committing to that.
And you know what? It works! The Callie buffed recently to be able to take out mirror windows. And it'll take out the mirror window inside of E-Box and will now allow Wanted Goons to start to pressure that pillar side. With the Montagne being brought out, Wanted Goons are no stranger to shields, as we mentioned before. And Monty's going to be positioned there. My goodness! Kixrow, I don't know if you forgot, but that's Scoob behind the scope. You don't want to peek that guy. Kixrow goes down. The opening engagement already in the favor of Wanted Goons.
And make it work. Exige still stationed at the stairs, so they have the bunker coverage. If they can make it so that Wi-Fi, who's holding down by the stairs area, if he can get shut down, that is pillar clear. And really only at this point do you have to worry about Carnage, who is just holding that angle. So far, that kill onto Kicks really opens things up and allows Wanted Goons to utilize the time that they have to essentially open up the hatch as, oh no, the Impact EMP is not gonna be able to get it, and that is really gonna put a stop to what otherwise was a great start to a round.
Yeah, Wanted Goons, they do have the opening engagement in their favor, but now it's just about finding a way into the basement, and they absolutely can't. That hatch is sealed off, and Exige is going to have to make an alternative entrance. Scoob is still positioned outside of bunker, but not a single person from Karn and Co has given him an option there. Gunner and Giddy will start to light up Exer and Deadly. Now Exige with 1 HP. Karn and Co have found a way to basically split Wanted Goons in half by taking out the players inside a pillar and forcing the players outside of bunker to basically be on an island. Carnage B will take down Mendez. Now it's just Exige and Scoob. They rotated over towards that tower position, and they have spotted Gunner as Scoob will take them down. There's 17 seconds left. Exige has the diffuser with very little amounts of HP. A miracle is more than what we're going to need from Wanted Goons in this round. Giddy will shut down Exige. It's just Scoob. Second kill for him. He's had an highlight round so far. but it will lead to nothing. Karn & Co. will hold firm.
Operators, you have run out of
I
time.
think it shows that no matter how many kills you get, even if it's one onto a very pivotal player, you still need to get the fundamentals of the actual site itself. Hatches are extremely important because one thing about that basement site is the amount of entries that you can have. You've got a couple hatches. You technically you have 3. You've got the one in freezer, e-box, and laundry. And it seemed like Wanted Goons just didn't get any of them open. There was the one that was electrified. Can't get that one. So at this point in the round, all you've got is the stairs and bunker, neither of which got started off. So just kind of take it easy. Realize that, okay, round didn't go our way. Next time, let's maybe bring a Thatcher since that Kaid is on the board, or a Maverick. Something to make it so that the hatches get open, and then you can work off of that. But Wanted Goons, surely they're working around the Cali. Like, it's not a thing where Scoop's like, I'm going Cali and you can't stop me. Like, they're here for a fun time, Adam. And that is why I just cannot help but root for them. Like, you love the team that takes it kind of easy breezy.
Yes and no. You know, I love Wanted Goons, and I absolutely love every single player on that team. They're all, I've known Scoob since like 2018. That guy's a homie. But sometimes business is business, and Karn & Co. They're here to conduct business. When Karn & Co. are conducting business, there's nothing you can do to stop them. Sometimes they are the reigning, defending, undisputed Element 1 champions. They are looking to uphold their legacy right now, while Wanted Goons are looking to write a story that has not been written in a very long time in T2 Siege. That underdog story has been it's been brewing for a while, and Wanted Goons seem like the only logical team that could beat Karn & Co. considering what they've had before. Sometimes you don't get your fairy tale ending. I'm wondering how Wanted Goons are going to respond. Like you mentioned, they're going to have to play around this Cali, and they're going to have fun doing it. So regardless of how this goes, you can only do anything else but respect them. But Mendez down already thanks to Kicks Row. That's a beautiful play there from Scoob. Doesn't matter what operator this guy is on, he will absolutely make a highlight reel. That refrag is good, and Wanted Goons will now equalize.
Both on the Azami, the fact that we have a Cali in action, and she's been the most effective player on the team so far, it just shows you how good Scoob is as a player in general. Now is the difficult part. You've got, you know, some of these areas open, and you lose some bodies, making it so much harder to get anything done. As Scoob can be a real entry because he can only fire one shot, and you can kill one player, but when it comes to the 4 that are remaining, you're not really going to be able to get anything done. He can hold these angles and just misses the pixel, and that would have opened the entire site wide open.
2v4 now, and Wanted Goons have found themselves outside the bomb site with not a lot of resources to get in. The wall is open inside of Closet, but it's almost daring from Karn & Co. Daring Wanted Goons to walk into the site. Crossfires are plenty for this defense. They've got so many positions that they can play with. Inside of Pit will be swinging at his Kicks Row. He takes down Exer. Now it's just down to Deadly. Nice shot there onto Gunner. Looks for the second on that second player inside of Pit, but it'll do him no good. Kicks Row instead finds that frag, and Wanted Goons are down 2 rounds.
I thought of an apt comparison between these two teams. So, Karn & Co., the New York Yankees. And as a franchise, very good. Won a lot of World Series. Everybody knows who they are. Wanted Goons are the Savannah Bananas. I can think of no better comparison than, yeah, on an even playing field, when we're competing for the World Series, Yankees are probably going to win. But Savannah Bananas, they are great to watch, can bring you a great time, but when it comes to actually winning, I don't know if that's going to help. Scoob is going to hop off the fabled Cali, and I'm still shocked that he is leading the kills by 2 on his team. He's one of 2 who have kills, but maybe now, you know, you realize, okay, let's take it a little bit seriously, like, you know, minor league baseball type thing, instead of we're here for really goofy fun times.
Well, same time, Yankees did just have one of their Worst seasons.
That's why I said as a franchise.
I'm just saying. Karn and Co. I mean, I won't exactly call this their strongest season yet. We've seen them fall. And again, we'll keep bringing it up over and over again. They lost to this team in the group stage. Karn and Co. were 3-1 in Element 1. Where they would then go on to have an absolute banger grand final with GGG. This season, they went 3-2. Not their strongest showing, but sometimes it isn't the group stage that matters. Sometimes it's about what happens in playoffs, and Wi-Fi said it best. Playoffs are a whole different game. He's looking to play that different game. Karn and Co are no strangers to these high-pressure, tactile situations. On Goons, quite the opposite. Absolutely are brand spanking new to the scene, and they're gonna have a lot to prove.
You can use that drone in the bullets to put Scoob, and excuse me, not Scoob, to put Gunner over by T2. So right now, Wanted Goons, they have a lot of things that they need to do, and they're only really sending one player to do it. Exige is over by Shower, Exer is by that window, Scoob is still going to be over by this big tower area trying to hunt down the Frost, and so Wanted Goons, they're keeping that glass cannon style, where they can have a lot of power, but you take out one leg and the entire thing falls apart, but there's a great entry. That is going to take out a pivotal part of this Karn & Co defense, and it gives you control over a great area of the site. You can't have one without the other, but it seems like Wanted Goons are going to keep themselves in the man count lead for now.
4 versus 3, but Giddy through the wall, slams Scoob, and that upstairs pressure now at least alleviated for the time being, but Wanted Goons are still trying to find a way to fight for it. Unfortunately, this approach from Wanted Goons to apply a two-pronged attack hasn't exactly been working out as favorably in the previous rounds. We see them get split up very easily, and we're starting to see a little bit of the symptoms from that. Albeit you still have Giddy on very low HP. Fighting for top floor is not going to be easy, and with his location very well coordinated, very well scouted by Wanted Goons, they will clear the top floor by getting rid of Giddy. Now 3 versus 2, looking for that equalizer. Carnage B will miss the C4, he will misplace it, unfortunately not put it in the same spot that he wanted it to be in. Now 3 versus 2, and Wi-Fi and Carnage B simply just waiting. 2 anchors, 2 very patient players that'll take a fight when it comes to them. They won't exactly go to it. So far, it's been very quiet for Wanted Goons. With 20 seconds left, they're going to have to ramp it up here as Exer with the diffuser makes his way into dining. It's a double kill for Wi-Fi as he takes down Exige.
Seconds remaining.
And Wanted Goons just can't find a way to get this case inside. They're going to go for security. And Wi-Fi, while he might be holding that, he'll lose it. It's just down to Carnage B inside the bomb site. He has to guess which rotate Carnage is going to become from. He fires 2 shotgun shots, but can't kill a single person. Unfortunately, he nearly had that double kill, just couldn't finish off either man. And Wanted Goons will simply flood him and take him out. We'll take their first round.
Chat, what do you mean you bring actual good operators and you win? No, I don't think that's how that works. Put Scoop back on the Cali. I think that's the situation here. Nook, I mean, obviously we still do have the attacker pick, but that is still going to help you as well. I think the operator lineup is less of the thing to worry about here, and it's going to be the one thing that held you back the previous time you were here is going to be those hatches. Right now they have Twitch, nothing else really, but as I kind of say that, I take a look at the defensive lineup. There's no Kai. There's no denial. You don't have to worry about anything like that. So just completely ignore everything I said for the last 20 seconds and keep Wanted Goons in their power positions. While Scoob isn't going to be on that bolt action, still going to have that team. He's going to have the ability to help out with any roamers that are on the prowl, but I don't think Karn & Co are going to do that. They're a more centric team that likes to keep themselves inside of the site. Maybe we'll see Wi-Fi around these tower stairs or Gunner or somebody. Otherwise, it's going to be up to Wanted Goons to be the team that puts the pressure on.
Oregon's a very difficult map sometimes to dictate the pace, but they have done so, and it's kind of been a slow pace. Wanted Goons are playing a lot more methodically than they usually would. Obviously, you don't have the blitz, and wow. Mendez, I think, actually got rid of both mirror windows with a single Twitch drone. That is impressive. Yeah, you have the Ash to counter either, but that is a really good start. You open up those mirror windows, and that enables 2 lines of sight for you. Not only into Chala, where that first mirror window was placed, looking into Freezer, but also the one looking into Bunker. Now it's a little bit more dangerous to swing E-Box for Karn and Co. It's a really good start from Mendez, and you really want to highlight the utility play because that's something that Wanted Goons can be concerningly strong at, despite the fact that they are kind of just like that meme team that doesn't focus a lot on on those micro strategies and is more so there for the macro. It's really good utility usage.
And bringing the Capital, you only have that if you can actually utilize your utility. Another player gets taken out by Pillar. So you have an entry. And now completely ignoring the hatches almost. They're going to go down Freezer, going to go down Laundry and set up a sort of pinch. But that Mira in the way is going to be that one thing that really holds them back. But they down Giddy, and this entry just keeps getting better. They are getting so close to evening things up.
Karn are trying to use some utility to at least stall them out, but in comes Deadly. He's going to take that one with Kickstone and wins it. Wi-Fi does get the first kill here for Karn & Co, but it's right in a 4 versus 2. As I say that, Mendez goes down. There's a trade as Deadly walks into bunker. He claims one and claims the second as well. 3 kills on the round for Deadly, and sometimes all you need is just a little bit of that frag potential, a little bit of that power, a little bit of those gunfights, and it could take you a long way. Wanted Goons will come a long way from where they were at the beginning of this game, as they have now equalized on this Oregon attack.
One of the things about Wanted Goons, if you go back and look at a lot of their games, especially on Border, when they previously played Karn and Go as Pokegame, you realize how a lot of times they shouldn't come away with these rounds. Fundamentally, you look at their utility, you look at how they're doing mechanically, and their opponent, Karn and Co in both situations, has the upper hand. And somehow, I don't know if it's a monkey's paw, a genie's lamp, Wanted Goons always finds a way to keep themselves in the fight. Karn & Co, fiery start, but once Scoob actually starts taking things an inkling seriously, maybe the team as a whole is suddenly locked in, or if it is really just Scoob that really spearheads the entire team, I don't think so. But so far, Wanted Goons have really snapped into place.
Attacker's objective is
The thing about Wanted Goons is they have a lot of moving parts at once, and that's kind of where you have your double-edged sword for this team. Is that can be their weakness and also their strength. Sometimes if you get too aggressive on one side of the map while the rest of your team is droning or trying to play for utility, it can be really disjointed. But that previous round that we just saw was an example of Wanted Goons and where their strengths come in the fact that they can take so much map control in such a short period of time and kind of do it all on their own. They're very individual players sometimes. These are 5 players that maybe haven't teamed with each other all that much. Exer and Exige have a history on Hound, but Scoob is brand new to the squad. And in general, this squad is very brand new. They're already off to a very aggressive start as they're starting to make pressure over towards Freezer, while the rest of the team also starts to work towards those hatches.
I'm a little surprised that Karn & Co don't want to bring that Kai, because I felt like that was the one operator, the one piece of utility that kept Wanted Goon from reaching anywhere close to the actual round. But in the previous one, and now, they've just decided not to, and it leaves me scratching my head, because it feels like they tried to fix something that didn't need fixing. As you have these secondary hard bridges, they're going to be able to get those walls open and now go for that pinch that really worked well in that previous round. But bold play from Exige, and it is not going to amount to anything.
Pick there from Gunner. Wanted Goons, I mean, they've been in this position before, but Karn & Co can really snowball rounds very heavily. It's where that experience comes from. Capital Bolt's going to try and stop Gunner from swinging, but there is a gap there to at least utilize, and I believe one of the firebolts were caught by a Wamai disc. So all that Capital utility isn't actually going to come into fruition. There's not a single push has come out of it from Wanted Goons. They're stalled outside of Laundry. They're trying to maybe find a pick. Karn & Co don't tend to give up picks that often. As I say that, Gunner already taking down a very low amount of HP, spotted inside of Laundry, and they're trying to deal with him, but they can't just yet. 50 seconds remaining. Capital Bolts once again will attempt to shut down Long. Nothing comes just yet. Smoking it from Carnage B. At least delay that freezer push for now.
Pixels be the difference between Wanted Goons getting one plus entry as Giddy's able to strike it. Now Scoob goes off the angle, letting Gunner get a little bit of a reprieve. And it seems like Karn and Co, they have all the advantages that they want.
So many Ebas in place inside of Freezer. They thought about it. They knew that Wanted Goons wanted to pressure Freezer heavy, and they absolutely responded in kind. They managed to dial the pace down. Karn and Co did. They slowed Wanted Goons down to a crawl. They countered their utility with smoke grenades, with those zombie barriers inside of Freezer. And Wanted Goons just couldn't find a way through. That's the thing about Wanted Goons, is sometimes they're almost a little too simple for their own good. They make an objective and they try and seek it out. Whenever you have so much utility, you can't take those gunfights as aggressively as you want to without actually clearing them out. Nothing for those Kiba barriers at all. Karn and Co looked very much unstoppable that last round, and I wouldn't say it's concerning for Wanted Goons, because of course, we've seen them come back from worse. But it's definitely a good start for Karn and Co, and it's kind of the Karn and Co that we tend to expect. Wi-Fi talked about explosiveness. I've seen pretty much the opposite. Pure patience on this defense. I'm almost nervous for what is to come on attack, depending on how Wanted Goons handle the rest of this half.
Yeah, I mean, 3-3 is the worst you can do. I think 4-2 is the worst that you can do. And Wanted Goons right now, Scoob has hopped on the Blackbeard. We have seen in previous maps how good he has just been. I mean, he's good in general, but right now, the rest of Wanted Goons are going to have to worry about the couple of roamers that we see on that first floor. Kixro loves to skedaddle his way in the basement with Giddy over by those showers, but it seems like they're both centered on that dining area. So either Wanted Goons are going to have to go for a kind of lobby over, maybe they can split off these roamers, or just completely ignore them. There are technically only two with an asterisk, because Attic can be a way back in if it's opened up. But it seems Exige has placed the crown on his head. Kind of find out where these roamers lie and take them out.
Scoob on that exact same castle barricade where he found Carnage B does light up that exact same player, but can't find the kill this time around. Wanted Goons won't get their entry off of that play, and it's a very minute play, but it is a player less that you'd want alive. As a matter of fact, it's the tuber out. Be so effective at stalling out Wanted Goons if they try to get the wall open, which is something that they've had trouble with, not only just walls, but hatches. There he goes. Like a fart in the wind. Carnage B is gone from this round. As I was talking about him and telling you guys about how important this operator is, well, he's not going to be present on this round.
And now there's two options, because you've taken out a player inside of this site. So either you really speed things up and take advantage of the fact there's less players inside of the site. I think there's two right now, or see if you can hunt down these roamers. Exige, patient as ever, is going to be able to find Giddy and hack the cameras, which neutralizes the Valkyrie. You might not even need them. It's a 4v2 as Kixro almost catches Exige out and equalizes things up.
He's going to commit to that swing even while blind, but on the other side of the map, on the bomb site itself, Wi-Fi loses control of his anchor position. That just leaves Kixro with no C4 in hand in a 1 versus 4. And there's a Blackbeard. He may be one of the worst operators in the game, but he can win some one-on-one situations that no other operator can. Speaking of, Kixro does win that second one-on-one. Still has to find 3 more. With that diffuser down, he's put on a very low amount of time! But there goes the BB! It's a third there from Kixro! But Exer is there to claim that insurance. He's there to make sure that they win that round. And Wanted Goons, they absolutely will. 3-3 now, we're equal at the half. And this is kind of the game that we expected out of both of these teams, isn't it?
Yeah, and one thing that Wanted Goons have been doing very well as well is patience. We saw that from Scoob on the Catley in the first couple of rounds, and then we see that from Exige. He put up a fat egg for this round. So the fact that he was sent to deal with roamers essentially alone is a huge risk. But knowing where these roamers lie over by these showers, wait. I can't remember how long Exige was there with the SMG-12 just hanging out. But he waited and waited and waited, and he was rewarded with a kill. Along with that, Wanted Goons played the trade game very well up on that top floor, equalizing us at a 3-3. And now here's where I feel they are let off of the leash to kind of harp back to the desk. Defense and Scoob go so well together. And he's on the Kai, but he will play in the weirdest positions. He will somehow rat in a corner you did not think was possible. And I think that goes for the rest of Wanted Goons. They also are cut from the same cloth. It seems that Scoob, he's hanging out in garage. He still has an Electro Claw and a C4, but by God, is he going to let it all ride?
Yeah, he does still have that Electro Claw. Just kind of
He's
funny.
got the hatch, though. So, I mean...
And
okay, there he is! God, he finds him all the time!
I don't even... I'm just, like, perplexed.
Reloading!
Wi-Fi is dead, and I'm not even sure he knows where from. The opening engagement from Scoob, from Scob R6.LFT with a Cade Claw in his pocket inside a garage. That sentence just doesn't make sense in my head at all.
It never does. Scoob
that
just
doesn't make sense.
gets these. He like this happens in every match, no matter who he's played. He has tried this style of play, just spawn peeking, being a weird ass mofo, and he is rewarded with kills. I don't think there's been really a lot of areas where he's actually punished for playing like this.
Karn talked about their explosiveness on attack, and it's not going to matter if, you know, this roam game is going to constantly pressure you as Karn and as it has so far. It is just one pick, and the rest of Wanted Goons have fallen off, but this is not going to be something that is a stranger to Karn. These aggressive plays are going to come time after time. That is the ugliest gun I've ever seen. That's like a Trev Mac gun. Long barrel, hollow C, or B, I think it's hollow C. With the angled grip, disgusting. But regardless, as I was saying, you got to make sure that you aren't allowing Wanted Goons to just run around the map like this. It won't be a problem this round, as Carnage B attempts to get that hatch open with the Zoto canister on it. It seems like he will be successful.
It takes a little bit longer than usual, but eventually able to get it open. And I think with Oregon, it doesn't really matter when you do it, because a lot of times you're gonna have that happen on the same area. You crash that basement side, whether the hatch is open at 1:30, whether it's open at 45 seconds, because that's just how the basement site works. It's very hard for the attackers to really get any advantage overall, let alone when you've already lost Wi-Fi. So it seems like they are gonna push very, very quickly, get those nades in, and hope to try to catch one person out.
Versus 4. Execute's coming on in, but that pillar control has been lost. Kicksrow loses his gunfight, but Giddy's there for the trade. Carnage B now going to start to make the diffuser in its way towards the site, and Exer's the one with the C4, and he's the only one with a C4 to deny that plant. Exige goes down to Gunner, and the plant's going to start to go down as well. Carnage B will get that off in a 2 versus 2. Exer with that C4, he'll try and toss it, but not even having a modicum amount of time to get it down, as Gunner lights up the scoreboard. 3 kills for him on this attack, and explosiveness. Wow! That was a beautiful transfer from Gunner. Karn & Co. They'll claim that attack.
It's all about how you start on the Oregon basement, especially on the attack. If you can get yourself a modicum of map control, whether it's bunker, whether it's pillar, it allows you to just absolutely flow forward. That is not the map, not the replay. We're good. Karn & Co. If they can continue to start off their basement attack by pushing forward and making sure that the defenders don't have the space that they want, like we saw Exige take in that previous round, then I think you're going to punish one of the Goons for going to the basement again. Because it is a very hard site for the attack to actually win, but once you get going, then things look pretty good for you.
It's all about momentum, baby. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but in this game, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of back and forth. Or that. It's not like one team is going to be holding on to the lead for a very long period of time, if this, at least the first half, was any preview. 2 rounds for Karn & Co. on their opening defense, and then Wanted Goons immediately claimed 2 back. We're going to have a back and forth game here. Karn & Co., yes, they claimed a very, very dominant attacking round, but there is tons and tons of potential for Wanted Goons to do the exact same thing on this defense, and sometimes all it is a little switch up. That's what Wanted Goons are going to do. They have a roamer all the way upstairs, even though this isn't even the bomb site. They have cap cans on the closet door. You have Scoob sitting behind the mattress inside of the master.
He's scaring them. You saw Karn, like, having to drone out, keeping sights on that door. And yeah, it's important to take out those roamers, but the pace at which Karn and Co are doing just to respect the line of sight of Scoob and his comrades, it's pretty commendable, considering the fact that he's just one player. And the site is all the way down in the basement. Because normally you say, hey, this player's okay, we bring something like a Nomad, we got drones. Can't really do that with Scoob. Because just like life, he finds a way somehow. And with the rest of Wanted Goons dispersed throughout the map, it's going to be Kixrow, able to find Deadly, and that opens up that kitchen area. And now it puts a lot more onto Scoob to get things done where Karn and Co aren't looking.
Yeah, big responsibility on the roamers. Not just Scoob, but also Mendez playing inside of Z. It's an aggressive position to play, and it's one that Karn and Co are going to have to clear if they want to continue that shower side push. And, well, just like that, the snap of a finger, Mendez goes for the cross and is shut down by Gunner. He had a very quiet defensive half, but holy moly as he turned it up on attack. 3 kills on the previous round, and already he's lighting up the scoreboard on this one. Wanted Goons in general are off to a really rough start with those roamers being shut down, except for one. Scoob on main stairs. Gunner very much aware of this location, of the presence of the cap can. He has the presence of mind to swing him. Scoob will lose his life, and now it's a double kill for Karn and Co. And the 2 versus 5 on this execute, much easier than the previous round.
Seems like Karn and Co just have the know. They've thrown a lot of drones in, they have the utility that they want. And with C4 may disrupt some things, it absolutely does!
Double C4 there. I was holding my breath. The drop from Carnage B and Kixrow will absolutely not work in their favor, but it may not matter as it's just Exige. He's got the smoke. He's in Iconic, but is he an Iconic? He's 1-7 right now. He's had a very difficult game.
15 seconds to go.
Judging that the drone may have spotted him, he'll make his way into E-Box and take this fight inside of Pillar. He has the diffuser right underneath of him, and he wins the fight against Wi-Fi. Shotgun in hand, he's looking the wrong way. He shuts down one, but Gunner is there for the flank. Nearly a masterclass clutch there from Exige, but the pinch from Wi-Fi and Gunner was just too well timed. Karn and Co now take 2 rounds in a row.
You almost did it. I got a little scared there, but for Karn and Co, I think it's just the exact same thing. Right? With Wanted Goons, they tried something different, where instead of kind of having everybody on site, they spread things around. Karn and Co read into that, do a decent roam clear, and make it so that Scoob, a puzzle piece that doesn't exactly fit in anywhere. They figured him out. Gunner had the angle prepped and ready, and whenever Scoob walked out, whether it was going to be 20 seconds, I don't think Gunner was leaving anytime soon. Maybe Wanted Goons have been figured out. The somehow mystery that is this team, Karn and Co played it perfectly. But as we take away from the basement, go back up to the dorms, a site that leads into a lot more roam gameplay. So Scoob and Exige will be able to play a lot more freely into the actual site itself. Maybe this will be better for the team as long as they set up their utility to make it harder for the attack to actually get through that once they get through the roamers.
I'm wondering how much they're also going to put onto the roam, considering that they brought 3 trap operators. I'm assuming that, like you mentioned, they're going to be on this roam in the basement. There is no buck, so Karn and Co don't exactly have a very concrete reason other than map control to, or maybe that white execute to take below into dining. They may only need to take the shower side hall and start to work their way up white, which is where Exige currently sits. They can clear him out. That's pretty much all the pressure that I think that they'd want in this round. But I do think that Wanted Goons could definitely get a lot more out of their roamers. So far, they've been shut down pretty easily by Karn and Co, and that's going to be a big problem because that's a lot of Wanted Goons' playstyle, is to try and bring the fight to the attackers. And if the attackers are responding well enough, if they're being patient enough to know and to have peace of mind that these roamers aren't going to be able to shut us down, it's a lot of the strategy taken away here.
Important gunfight in that armory. And with Mendez over by Trophy. Scoob's not moving. Neither is the player. I believe that is Wi-Fi or somebody. I don't know if that's Grimm's hat or that's Ace's goggles. And it is Giddy. who's hanging down there. It's not all in his corner because Wi-Fi does have those secondary hard breach charges, but you want to make sure that you can start off this round with a win, and that's not the way to do it. XZ just gonna strike, and there's those roamers finally getting something done. Surely he doesn't hop out.
Scoop.
Surely.
Oh, yeah, he does! Oh, well. GG. There he goes. Gone. Reduce to atoms. Excuse me, I messed up that quote. Now 3 versus 4. And wanted Goons. They didn't get a lot out of the roamers. They got rid of Kicksrow. That's not a lot of utility. They got rid of the players, I think, hunting down Exige. But now Exige, he's not going to have a lot of impact on this round, is he? Mendez is down inside of Attic, and that site pressure is starting to mount quite heavily. There's no C4 for Exige to play Plantanal down below. He's going to have to be a body upstairs instead. He does get a Capcan kill onto Carnage B, but he can't do anything with his gun. Instead, it's Giddy for 2, and Gunner to shut down the Capcan on White Stairs. Karn & Co., a completely different team this time around on this attack. They said that they are going to be playing not like the Karn & Co. of old, but the Karn & Co. of new. And we're absolutely seeing pure dominance from them on this map, on this half.
Wanted Goons are still sticking to their kind of, not silly, but, you know, maybe a little bit unserious, atypical style of play. And now is maybe where I start to think that Super has some validity in his words when he says that the style of play that Wanted Goons have potentially doesn't work as well on Oregon and Clubhouse because there's just not as much room to get into the shenanigans that this team does. I mean, they're still trying it with Exige, with Scoob, but Karnico's able to punish them a lot more with the smaller map. So when we go to Clubhouse, you might be able to actually get things done, but it's not over yet. We still have at least one more round to go, and it seems like they still are going to attempt that drone gameplay, which I agree with. Scoob is in his element a lot more when he is off that site, able to be his lonesome self, and I really wouldn't want it any other way.
Attackers are moving out to
What do you mean he's in his element? He's in element, obviously. He's in playoffs.
That was really funny, Adam.
He's in his element, too.
Oh my, I wasn't expecting the double whammy. You got me.
Too good at this, guys. Too good at this. Let's go. Oh, Karn & Co. They're playing all too well. Gunner, once again, filling out that classroom position. Mendez gonna shut him down. Let's take a listen in to Wanted Goons. Let's see if they can recover this round. And maybe if they're even putting a little song and dance to it.
Attic is open, though. Like,
Yeah, listen, no roam or nothing.
Said they had Capcans, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I need somebody home my
Median's
main. I'm
clear.
gonna go.
Median's clear.
You have a main cam?
Green's
I'm
clear.
going directly for the E-box hatch right away.
Listen,
He's on
median's
bottom
clear,
main. I
median's
need somebody to
clear.
hold
They
this
have
guy.
two rotate. Any voucher?
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
yeah,
No one up there, bro? Like, he could have went up there somehow.
Can you hold
Guys,
front
it's
front
the late
side again?
round.
Never trust the naked eye.
It was Karn, Adam.
Yeah. I was like, why are these guys so serious all of a sudden? What the hell? What happened to that fun-loving playstyle? But let's take a listen into Wanted Goons as they try and win this round.
Flores is close bunker. What the hell? Train all the way back to put his Flores shields down. I'm shooting him.
I lit one up classroom. I don't know who. You shoot that cam? Oh no.
I got one Flores shield. I think he knows what the Goyo is now, though. Got the cam D-box hash.
Can I impact right here, Exige, and get an Goya?
One freezer, one freezer. Shot freezer cam. Shot freezer cam.
Jackal.
I had your front. I had your front.
Just turn your tarps. I just opened security hatch. Open security hatch.
Flores is solo bunker right now.
Nice shot.
Bunker.
Flash me out. Flash me out.
I'm full flash, pillar.
I'm going back to help.
I'm gonna come help you.
I'm watching you.
Drop the D-box. Drop the
Can't underestimate Wanted Goons' comms, but they're gonna have to go big, isn't it? And they absolutely do! It's a third kill for Scoob, and all of a sudden Exer and Mendez, sorry, it was a third kill for Mendez. Exer and Scoob tally up a few as well. And Wanted Goons, they showed up just a little bit there. 3 attacking rounds in a row for Karn & Co, but Wanted Goons will at least shut them down for 1. They just need 2 more for overtime.
Did somebody burp? I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah, funny enough, the hearing Karn & Co.'s comms actually allows us to directly compare them, because Wanted Goons, they're still giving comps, but this might just be me. I feel a huge difference from them. The ease of which Wanted Goons are kind of communicating with each other feels comparative to their actual gameplay style. You know, they're taking it easy. They're letting it loose. They're burping. They're doing whatever they want, and they're still able to come away with wins. And I mean, they have to win meeting though, and that's going to be the difficulty of actually winning, Adam. Because sometimes winning comes at a cost, and that's you have to continue your streak on a site that really doesn't favor you as the defense.
Site actually wanted Goons one on their attack against Karn and Co. And this is the only time we've seen this bomb site in this game. Scoop with a pistol in hand will try and look for that spawn peek. I mean, yeah, the yellow, that Scorpion kicks like a mule, but actually no kill. Is that Operator of the Week for Scoop? Is it Ella? Is that his Operator of the Week? Did he roll Ella on his random operator wheel?
I will never understand his mind.
Yeah, I've known him for so long, I don't even understand his mind.
It's too great for us, too genius for us mere mortals.
Yeah, got that 18 intelligence stat. It's like unbelievable who this guy is. I can only compare him to Einstein, dude. Like at this point, this guy is so smart. Although that pistol run out was not. He tried to go for a pick and he didn't get it. I will say he goes away unscathed, which is good. But already, oh my goodness, Gunner's inside, and so are the rest of Karn and Co. They'll bring that explosive play that they were talking about. Now it's a 4 versus 3. Wanted Goons are getting chopped up, but so are Karn and Co. Kicksrow gassed out of Greenhall, now down. He is a Finka, so he can res himself, and there's no threat from Wanted Goons to actually get rid of him there. Still a 2 versus 4, and Wanted Goons are all of a sudden tasked with now retaking a bomb site. Plenty of utility to do so, at least one smoke grenade to do so. Make that one count while you can. Exige, it is tossed out. Exer will make his way in through split, but Wi-Fi shuts him down for the double. It's just down to Exige. Now 1 versus 4 to save Oregon, to try to bring this map back. And while Wi-Fi goes down, Giddy's there for the trade. And Wanted Goons, they're the underdogs for absolute damn sure. They have quite the story ahead of them if they want to try and pick this back up. 7-4. Karn and Co. are no slouches in playoffs.
There's a lot of highlights to still harp upon for both of these teams. We saw what Wanted Goons when you let one or two of these players really have their space. And for a map like Oregon, you're not going to actually get too much of that, even when Karn and Co. did give them that space, which is why we see a lot of wins for Wanted Goons, but even more for Karn and Co. I think you and I can say this. This is a good match. Wanted Goons have put up a good fight in that first map, and I'm really excited to see what they do on that second map.
Yeah, absolutely going to have to come up big on that next map. Oregon was definitely not the easiest, but we do have map number 2. And I do think, like you said, Wanted Goons, this can be a very close series. They are absolutely a team that has the caliber to beat Karn and Co., to defeat those reigning champions. And they also probably have just enough motivation, but it's Clubhouse. It's Club. These are 2 maps that Karn and Co. are very comfortable on. However, if Wanted Goons can take Karn and Co.'s map pick, there's Skyscraper, which is one of Karn and Co.'s permabans. That's going to be very interesting. We'll be back with that very shortly with map number 2 between Karn and Co. and Wanted Goons for the for the 4th spot, for our final spot in semifinals.
Well, the road back to the Element Grand Finals certainly looks like it's going really well for the reigning champs. Karn and Co take Wanted Goons map pick off of them in very quick fashion. Wanted Goons pick into Oregon, get a 3-3 half, and everything from there feels like it just descends. It feels like the reasons that you managed to get defense last on your own map pick went absolutely out the window as soon as we switched side set. This thing didn't look good at all.
Yeah, to see a team on, this meta's version of Oregon struggle to win even basement, it's certainly concerning for Wanted Goons heading into the next map. Honestly, their attacks were not too bad. They didn't seem too affected by, Oregon limiting the cheese plays. What it came down to was they seemingly forgot how to play defense. So, that's obviously a concern because it's you should be winning more defensive rounds than attack rounds.
Yeah, especially when you're getting so many entry engagements where you're constantly putting a team like Karn and Co, who are historically very slow, and their stats for average opening engagements sure look good, but they are skewed by players like Gunner going off on his own, going on the one-man army. But the rest of the team still does move methodical and sits really close to home. Here on the defensive side, it didn't really matter. You can have somebody like Scoob go 3-0. Sure, a couple of those picks were cheese picks on Cali that ultimately didn't do anything, but it just leaves you wanting and desiring a little bit more coming out of Wanted Goons.
So much of what they were talking about early was, if we can cheese our way to victory, then we're gonna try. I don't really know how much cheese I saw other than the Cali pick and then maybe a couple of very off methods of positioning. Did they start cheese at the beginning and then as the game went on try to take things more seriously and it just didn't end up working? What for Wanted Goons fell apart here?
I think, we talked about this before it even started, but the maps that they've chosen to go to really, to me, limit the amount of cheese you can even do. It's Oregon, Clubhouse, Sky, right? Oregon, how do you even cheese it? What do you throw Ying down a hatch? You run in blue with Blitz. Clubhouse, what are you going to do? Walk up Raptors with Clubhouse? Like, the options to even play cheese here are very limited. And looking at those stats that were just posted, I think it's important to note that Karn & Co did not even plant the bomb once. So a team that's slow on attack, rather than forcing them to plant, Wanted Goons were just dying to them, letting them kill them and not even forcing them to execute. You're playing a slow team. They need to realize that for map 2, make Karn & Co actually make and execute. You don't need to fight them outside the map.
Karn, let's talk about that map too. Clubhouse coming up next, and this is the map that Karn have decided to go to. But there's still a bit of a persistent problem. If Oregon was played already, that's been played to death for years. Everyone already understands the fundamentals of how you play a map like that. It's even worse for Clubhouse, because if you don't know how to play club, why on earth are you playing this game if they can't even win basic sites like basement on Oregon? What hope do they have to win sites like church or CCTV or gym? For Wanted Goons, what do you need to see from them in map 2?
Well, it's really difficult because there's the saying, Super said it last night, good teams go to Clubhouse to die. And unfortunately for Wanted Goons, most of the time, the teams are killed by Karn teams. This is a roster and just an overall system that Carnageby has had for so long that just caters itself to Clubhouse constantly. Karn & Co could be 0-5, worst team in the league, playing against the best team, go to Clubhouse and win the game. I've seen that happen multiple times. It is a good club system, and overall, Wanted Goons are really going to have their work cut out for them. What sort of cheese are you going to do when you can't get any of the hatches because Tubarao is up? What are you going to do if Cade isn't banned and you don't have the right just overall anti-breach operators to really get the map controlled that you need? At the end of the day, you're attacking the top floor. You can't really cheese the fact that you've got to get the CCTV wall open. There's no way around it. There's inevitabilities on maps like Oregon, map like Clubhouse, that Wanted Goons need to just kind of settle down and go into the more basics.
Seth, I feel like the fact that Exige gave us that line about the way that they were playing in the interview feels like it's almost like the sort of thing you don't want to say, not just because it might reveal what your strategy is, but now it's the only thing we've talked about. This entire segment is, are they going to cheese? How do you cheese? Is it even possible? Now it almost feels like there's not really much of a way that we can take Wanted Goons seriously in this case, right?
I mean, to be honest, we just didn't see a lot of them outside of cheesing even leading up to this match. So it's not surprising they say that kind of thing. The problem is like when you're playing a map like Clubhouse, it's very fundamental. It's very step by step. It's very You need to be here. You need to be here. You need to be holding that, or nothing's going to work. And if you're a team that, to be honest, struggles to play a more structured style, you're used to running around and doing all these crazy kind of plays, this isn't going to really be the map that's going to lean towards that sort of style. And if they couldn't pull it out on Oregon, their own map, a map of Clubhouse, that while it's a different map, to me, it does play out a bit the same in the very structured, you need to make sure you're holding certain things aspect. I'm worried for Wanted Goons that, you know, kind of the miracle run of the unknown players might be losing to the known commodity here.
Yeah, and overall, I'm sure that we can think about all these fundamental things that need to happen on Clubhouse. Like, let's say you're attacking the basement and you don't have a chained repel player. All of a sudden, somebody like Gunner is going to read into that properly and absolutely punish. I think Gunner on the roam is going to be absolutely phenomenal this game. And I think even somebody like Kixrow or Giddy is going to join up with him and make it very, very hard for Wanted Goons to defend as they get onto that side. But with the attacking side, Karn has kind of seen it all, and it's an overall just going to be ability to read, like, what can you really do that's that crazy on Clubhouse? Besides maybe some spawn peaks, that's pretty much all you have. It's a very solved map. We've pretty much seen everything, and bar a crazy oil pit shield that nobody's seen in 5 years, I don't really see Wanted Goons reinventing the wheel.
All right, let's figure it out then. Map 2 time! But not yet. After a very short break, we gotta get everybody in the lobby, and then once we do, we'll figure out if Karn & Co. actually need a map 3, or if Wanted Goons are done and dusted right here, right now. We'll be right back.
Finally, with map number 2 between Karn & Co. and Wanted Goons, we move it over to Clubhouse, and there's been enough discussion about how this map may go. It's a very fundamental map, like Super like to say a lot, and as well as the rest of the desk. It's a really good way to put it. Wanted Goons, they had been struggling on Oregon due to the fact that they couldn't really do much aggressiveness, and they couldn't do what they usually do on the other maps. Clubhouse is kind of the same. It's very fundamental. And Wanted Goons may struggle once again on this defense is where they will start.
Still going to use an attacking ban on the Blitz, so that may open up a couple of things. You're not going to see maybe a Thermite ban, maybe a Thatcher ban of sorts. Instead, they're having to waste it on the Blitz just to make sure Scoob does not get up to any shenanigans overall. He's still going to, but, you know, Blitz has been Karn & Co.'s nightmare ever since that first map. And they're just taking some precautions. But Wanted Goons starting on the defense, it's going to be up to them to jump ahead. Get this very big opening that they need to. You end up swapping to your attack down against Karn & Co. I don't see a way in which this team can really insert themselves back into the game if that happens.
Attackers need to
Big
locate
thing here is
any
Wanted Goons
bomb.
are working, against the grain. They're working against their momentum because they really got decimated on that second half of Oregon. That's the most recent memory they have against Karn & Co. This is a team that defeated Karn & Co. on Border on the first game of the season. They made themselves known back when they were Pokegang. They also made themselves known in many other ways. Of course, we've all seen the videos of Wanted Goons in their attack timeouts. Very funny guys, and I love them all, but they got a lot of work to do here on Clubhouse, and I'm hoping that they can switch something up because Karn & Co. have gotten nothing short of a change in their dynamics. They have gotten a new fresh coat of paint with this aggressiveness. Speaking of, Deadly going for that spawn peek, but nothing of it.
Yeah, he is a goon. You've got that right, Adam. I think everybody on this team is a goon of sorts, but you've got some players on the roam. A castle just to help yourself out up on that first floor. We saw Deadly. It seemed that Exige may be helping out. I want to know where Mendez is, and just as I ask that, we flip on over, and now over by Khan and Bedroom. I think this is where the attackers are actually going to start. You do see that wall getting opened very early on. Is Mendez going to stay, or just completely going to abandon this, maybe back up to Cash, realizing that there's just way too many people to deal with because it's just a big risk staying there.
He walks in the gym here, and there are still players upstairs for Wanted Goons, both Mendez and Deadly, awaiting a trial potentially by fire from Giddy sitting inside of gym. There's a drone coming in, but I don't know if they just completely misdrone this or if they haven't even opted to. Giddy is inside a bedroom, and they just simply have no idea. And this is going to be big. There's a swing there from Mendez. He doesn't even need to swing anything. Giddy's not even looking at him. Some opening engagement going in the favor of Wanted Goons, but Exige dies. Not even sure where from as he walks down main stairs. Deadly gets shut down as well. So while Wanted Goons were able to get Giddy, they weren't able to get away safely with their lives. That's 2 bodies gone for Wanted Goons.
But it is a man count disadvantage. Buck is gone. And that's a big player on that basement side because it's going to make it a lot harder to get what teams really want when you have control of that first floor, and that is vertical destruction. You still do have a couple breaching charges in both the Thatcher and the Aces pockets. You have some Ash breaches as well, but it's losing a very pivotal part of it. Is it round defining? Absolutely not. Karn & Co. still have the man count advantage overall, but it's just a tad more difficult. Mendez cannot die, because if he does, then Karn & Co. will absolutely roll over this team. It's still in Wanted Goons' favor by a hair, as long as they still have that smoke and can very easily turn over to the attack.
Plenty of utility to deny with from Wanted Goons. You're absolutely right that they can flip the script, but it all comes down to how much pressure Karn & Co. are going to apply as they go for this execute. We've seen their aggressiveness turned up to another level, and it has been an absolute pleasure to watch. Can Wanted Goons hold the floodgates? That is the question. Well, Flood's coming soon. 18 seconds left. Karn & Co. don't have themselves inside the bomb site just yet. They have the hatch to drop, and with Carnage B holding the diffuser in his hand, he sure as hell is going to just fly straight through the kitchen hatch. But it's starting to work out in the favor of Wanted Goons. 2 pick there from Exor and Mendez. The Wi-Fi inside of Dirt claims Scoob. Plant's going to go down behind Armory. There's a C4 rip. Not sure if he knows where that plant's going down. All he needs to do is peek through Kool-Aid, and he'll have his answer. Man advantage or not, Wanted Goons will take the first one.
It's a very basic round. There's nothing, you know, from the Wanted Goons special of play, but it's a clean round. They won that based off of the mistakes of Karn not droning Mendez out, and simply because that one player that was killed by Mendez made it a lot more difficult to actually scatter any of the defenders on that basement site, which then leads to smoke, to toss in a smoke, make the drop harder, and make life harder for the attack. It's clean, it's good. I love to see that from Wanted Goons, but can they replicate that going on to these other sites? Because I mentioned it was Karn & Co.'s mistake that actually led Wanted Goons to really getting a big lead in that, and you can't expect that on every single one of these rounds. It's going to kind of have to come from your own hand, and as we go over to a site that's on the second floor, we'll see if that can come true.
Switch up the bomb site, you switch up the momentum, and Karn & Co. just had a lot of trouble actually riding the momentum. They had 2 kills in their favor. They had that man advantage pretty much poised for them, but they just couldn't get the momentum. They couldn't get the ball rolling. They didn't have a way in, and it really came back to bite them. You could kind of see a little bit of a desperation play from Karn & Co. just dropping the hatch and forcing Wi-Fi down dirt with 20 seconds left. It's not the exact same pushes that we've been seeing out of Karn & Co. on Oregon, that same methodical play style they're so well known for. They make no mistakes, and when they do, it usually costs them a round. There's your first. Wanted Goons. On this defense, they could switch it up. Obviously, the basement, or the top floor site being brought means that there's plenty of opportunity for roamers to lurk around, but we saw Karn & Co. were able to shut them down, at least last time.
And cache extension, pretty not surprising. It's usually what you're going to see from teams that have one anchor inside of gym bedroom. What isn't usually expected is going to be Scoob in this corner. Currently not droned out. This is expected to come from Scoob, who likes to hang out on these trap operators, and Wi-Fi, without a care in the world, just hops straight on in. And Scoob actually messes up the impact, but it doesn't cost him a thing. He's just going to enter another corner, be another sneaky little rat as Kixrow is on the hunt.
Kixrow trying to chase. He's got the diffuser as well, so if he dies, maybe a problem for Karn & Co. Flashbangs and Ying Candelas galore as Giddy makes his way into red. I don't think any players from Wanted Goons are still here, but Giddy has this angle, and the player inside of Cash is very unsafe. Gunner takes down Scoob. You still have the Frost here. The 1-for-1 probably is what you're going to opt for if you are Wanted Goons, and you get it with Gunner going down thanks to Exer, but that lead does fall. The Frost removed from Cash. 3 versus 3. Karn & Co. They didn't make it wasn't easy. But they do get control of Cash, and they have a big stalwart now on this map. That is that Cash control. You saw that mirror window inside of Logi to deal with.
That's the one barrier. Is just that mirror window. You have 3 Selmas that you can utilize, but you still cannot avoid the player behind it. So to throw the Selmas, and with the time actually ticking down, you're really going to put yourself at a huge risk to do that. Kixrow is going to toss it, and now the mirror window will get popped, but they're actually going to stick behind it. Exige is going to make a very bold play and stay the course, and he is rewarded for it tenfold. He finds Kixrow, and now both Giddy and Carnage are going to have to expose themselves to make a play.
Mirror window is cleared, but that doesn't stop Exige. Still in that corner, and Carnage B will have to contest that immediately. But they line up! Carnage B and Giddy both falling to Exige here. He doesn't give himself a lot of credit, but Exige makes a massive play on that round, and Wanted Goons they're looking good. 2 rounds in a row now on this defense, on Clubhouse, and honestly, love it. The momentum has been really good. It seems like they're able to play their trades, and whenever Karn & Co. try to go for that execute, there's always a smoke grenade or a player playing inside of some weird corner that's able to stop Karn & Co. dead in their tracks. That's the Wanted Goons that we know. A team that really throws a team for a loop in their pacing. Wanted Goons, they're a very quick team sometimes. They can really take it up to another level, but you don't expect them to slow down and play patiently sometimes, and that can throw a lot of teams off.
Would it be fair to compare a little bit of Wanted Goons to the LATAM style of play? Not in the aggressiveness, but in the manner of which they see a play that can be made and they'll go for it? Because I think that's what Exige did. he knew that he could make a huge difference if he stayed behind. It wasn't a mirror window anymore. It was the small hole made by the Selma. He did, and he got a 3K in that position. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it, or is it like a different style of one play that's just one of Goons? Like,
The thing about Latem is that they're kind of aggressive together, and I think that Wanted Goons have displayed that they're way more separate, and I think that that's the big difference maker. And sometimes that's what NA lacks a lot of the times, is that teamwork. You have a clash of egos, or you have a clash of something else. Not that I'm saying that it's a clash of egos that's hindering Wanted Goons at the moment. As a matter of fact, I think if there's any team that doesn't have,
it's not.
ego problems, it's this one. But Wanted Goons do play very separately. And sometimes whenever you just don't get a pick on the other side of the map, it doesn't work out. That's what we saw from Karn and Co in Oregon. And now we're starting to see where Wanted Goons are starting to kind of come alive, and they're starting to get very confident in the way that they play on this map. They've been very aggressive, and they've been very keen to go for those individual plays. We've seen it work out time and time again. It's only 2 rounds. Karn and Co, they can switch on a dime, and we'll hear a timeout at some point, maybe, from Karn and Co, where they'll try and do just that. That's the kind of thing that Karn and Co are really good at, is you get them in a position where they're predictable, and they just completely change up what they're doing.
C4 tossed out. It's not going to find anything, but Exige is going to expose himself and take a lot of damage as the wall finally will get opened, and Gunner, ready for the engagement, gives Karn and Co that entry. And now Wanted Goons, they're going to have to come up with a trade from somewhere else. You don't have to refill the spot that Sku was, as there's still a player on red stairs, but now you just have to be ready to fight, and that's going to come from Exer.
First engage for Wanted Goons. Wi-Fi. We'll take him down. Nowhere else he could have really went except for oil, and he was locked out of that thanks to the player sitting outside the garage door. It's a pretty easy picking here for Karn and Co. And Wanted Goons now find themselves once again at a man disadvantage. We've seen them come back from a situation like this before, and they also have a lot of utility to work with Mendez below, who could potentially contest the Twitch sitting inside a stock. And as Gunner takes down Exige, that site has become much less safe. Matter of fact, I dare say deadly, as Deadly himself swings onto Gunner. That's an also important gunfight to win. Ixro is taken down from below as well, thanks to the roam from Mendez. And Wanted Goons, we mentioned their individual playstyles. They're coming out big here. 2 versus 2. Carnage B and Wi-Fi now have to find a way inside with Diffuser in hand with Karn and Co. Carnage B looking for that plant behind the shelf. Solus has moved back upstairs, playing red with his teammate. Smart move to double up there. Carnage B will double up on the goo mines as he steps on 2 before going for that plant. Audio cue will be very much heard, but it won't matter. Deadly and Mendez get active, and it's what cost them at the end. Wi-Fi for 2K. Karn and Co for their first round on Clubhouse.
Great individual plays from Mendez and Giddy when it came to actually striking back. Why did Mendez go to the second floor? I don't want to say the round was made with that play, but you have the impact of a lifetime as Solus. You play underneath, you can directly spot where the diffuser is. So instead of just attacking these 2 players, these 2 sides of the site, do what your operator specializes in. Force the attackers to not play at default, scatter around the site, have to engage on that first floor. Because the one thing that it seemed like Wanted Goons weren't going to be able to do was exactly what I mentioned. There was 45 seconds on the time. Only Deadly remained on the site, and Mendez was underneath. You're not going to be able to deny the plant for 45 seconds, but as each get a kill, and the time starts to tick down, you have a golden opportunity. And I think Mendez could have absolutely won the round if that happened. You're still up by 1 round. You go back down to the basement. You have that roam superiority over your opponents so far in this game. And if you continue that up, it's still going to be difficult for your opponents to get things done. And I remind you, it also was because of one mistake that I don't think will be replicated.
See if that roam does come into fruition, and it already might. Mendez.
It's on the buck.
Yeah.
It's the wow.
Every single time it seems like that buck goes down first. Giddy has not been having the most fruitful of clubhouses that you can have, and that is your soft destruction now relinquished. Now, granted, 9 breach charges for Karn and Co, so losing Giddy this time around isn't so bad. But I didn't check I think, yeah, Giddy had hard breach charges. That's big. Getting those hatches open is now going to cost 2 Selmas. And you have
Time.
1 impact. Like you said, also going to cost time. Mendez is above again. Inside a bathroom, he swings into Logi. But intel this time around is good for Karn and Co. as Kixrow gets that swing and is able to equalize.
I think a 1-for-1 here with a minute off the clock is a worthy trade. And Solus is a great operator. Much better when the site is above her. She can still have that impact, but I think, like I said, the buck for the Solus, you really take that any day of the week. But it's more the fact that there's nobody left to contest Karn and Co. up on this floor. The time isn't going to be that big of a factor because you're going to have those precious seconds to get open the hatch with the Maverick, to set down all 9 of those breaching charges, and nobody is really going to sneak up from behind and take you out because why risk it? We've seen wanted Goons on this site, and they won simply by holding in the site. Not doing a sneaky little flank, simply by having their utility, of which they don't have the smoke of that they did in the previous round. But if you can get good positioning and have good guns, which you know wanted Goons can have, you might be able to take this one home.
Scoob. Nearly trying to put that gun to use as he swings the main stairs player, but no fruit to bear. 50 seconds left. Karn and Co. now starting to make their entry in. Wi-Fi has an exact ping on the player inside of Dirt. It just comes time for that swing, and there it is. Exige spotted out, and Dirt control taken. Now Karn and Co. They're establishing themselves a lot earlier than they did in that last basement attack that they had. Wi-Fi is in Dirt at the 40-second mark instead of the 20-second mark. And Gunner, that's a unique plant spot. Planning on that rotate behind the pillar. C4 is tossed, but it misses its mark. And that plant's going to go down no problem. Wi-Fi is down, though. So it's just Gunner and Kix. And somehow, Gunner makes a huge cross. He's still alive. Kixrow with a second kill. And Gunner claims Scoob. It's a 1-on-1. Wi-Fi down inside of Dirt. First hit by Exer. It's a fake. As Gunner has plenty of vert to play from. Exer's hiding behind the wall, but he's not hidden enough as Gunner. That's a cool plant spot. Absolutely love that. Countering what exactly happened to them last time. Instead, executing on that main stairs position. And Karn and Co. 2 rounds now. They've retrieved this game back into equal positions.
It's a good plant spot when you can actually get it down. And they were able to, and allowing the retreat up to the first floor probably was what allowed Karn and Co. to win that, but it's such a risk while you're actually doing it. I genuinely thought wanted Goons were gonna be able to pull it off because just a hair of a bullet skims by Wi-Fi, done, dusted. And a lot of that comes down to what felt like a little bit of a rushed a plant attempt. I don't think it was, because they had time to work with, and just deciding to plan out in the open with the coverage came with risks, and barely did they get the rewards, but they equal it up at 2-2. Still going down to the basement. Giddy hops back on the buck, so, I mean, hey, 3rd time is the charm. And Scoob has gone onto the Maestro.
5 seconds to go.
I think they were hiding the Maestro. It's not, you usually don't see that from a 3-armor operator that sits inside of the site. Usually it's Caveira.
I'm wondering why that's actually interesting. They're hiding the Maestro. It is the first time that we're seeing a Maestro brought out, I think, at all today. So
yes,
cool to see a Maestro. 3 bubbles now, 3 Evil Eyes, as opposed to the 2 that he had previously. So he does have an additional camera that he can place, and it's really good intel if you're able to hide it well. And there's a lot of places you can do it on Clubhouse. You can vault. I think that's already what Scoob did. You can vault inside a church on top of the jukebox and place it in a really obscure corner. And if you know there's a Maestro, you'll know it's there, but Arnico may not actually know that there's a Maestro. Kixrow, already on that opening engagement, claims Mendez, who actually killed Kixrow in that stock position previously. Getting a little bit of wrench, perhaps, for Kixrow, and that's an opening engagement going in the way of Karn and Co.
Are there any roamers left? Do have one, it seems, so that is going to be... I'm trying to think. Is it Exige? No, he's all the way over in Dirt. So everybody is stuck inside of the site, so it's going to allow the sledge, it's going to allow the breaching charges to do however they want. And that gives more time for Gunner to craft these sneaky ROU spots. Usually, an ROU is going to be thrown inside of the hatch because it can just bounce all over the place and create hell for this defense. Karn and Co have to know that a Warden is potentially in play. That Maestro is here. There's a lot of counters to that sense, and Wanted Goons can be ready for an attack that comes their way with perfect counters.
Even if the Warden gets taken down, you can't plant behind the cover of the smokes if there is a Maestro in play. Wondering where Gunner is going to look to toss those, because obviously we saw that unique plant spot from last round. I'm not sure if they're just going to go for that default set standard dark corner plant, but Hatch is going to get open with that thermite on Wi-Fi. Simply taking their time. Karn and Co don't need to rush anything. They have mid advantage. They're working with the vert thanks to Giddy on that sledge. I guess the buck was just cursed. So he's still alive. They do spawn at the bubble. There's an Ash on the board for Kixro, and they won't even utilize that. The nade instead will really work out well. So potentially the plant behind the cover of the smoke is possible now.
But depending where is Deadly, he could be that big player. He's over by blue. Will have direct counters to those ROUs. The drop from Gunner is there. It seems that Giddy is ready to plant.
Is it a bait? That's the question. There goes the Warden, so it's not like that's even going to be a problem. It's a triple kill for Kixro, and it's just Karn and Co all on the scoreboard. Give him a damn fourth. Karn and Co. Explosive. No other way to put it. Nearly flawless. Karn and Co just get the job done. Conducting business as business should be conducted. Wanted Goons. 3-2 now. Karn and Co. 3 rounds in a row. They've dialed it up to another gear. And this is the Karn and Co that we've been waiting for. This is the Karn and Co that we've expected. We've seen a weaker side of Carnage B and his crew in the group stage of Element 2. This is a completely different beast though. Wanted Goons, they've beaten Karn and Co before, but it looks like they themselves are going to have quite a tough challenge if they want to do it again.
I want to run something by you. You were looking at Moto Hatch, correct?
That's correct.
So were Wanted Goons.
They were.
Everybody kept their eyes over there, but they forgot about one man. Kixro. He drops in that blue hatch. He just sneaks up from behind, and Deadly cannot keep his eyes on that Moto hatch. And meanwhile, Giddy is not over by Moto hatch. He is planting exactly where we saw Gunner plant in the previous round. I dare say Karn and Co went for a master gambit. A bait, as you so called it. You know, sleight of hand. And I love looking at great plays, and it seems that right now Wanted Goons, they're a little bit stuck. They had a great start, but now as the round have gone on, Karn and Co have brought out these unique strategies, have countered the roams, and there's nothing that Wanted Goons have done to really counter that besides what the desk would call it, cheese.
Feels like they haven't really fought back in a lot of these rounds. It's just been a slog. Karn and Co look like the better team. There's really no other way to say it. And Wanted Goons, they're definitely going to need to switch up a pace here. You have Scoob looking for potentially that aggressive peek on the stock hatch. Nothing there just yet. A lot of focus towards Jacuzzi. As a matter of fact, 2 hard breachers dedicated here to try and get rid of that mirror window, but instead the Banatrix is going to come on out. Kixro's on Ash, and Ash charges do ignore Bandit batteries, so if Kix were to place an Ash charge on the mirror window, he could pop it, but instead he'll place it underneath, utilizing the vert and destroying that mirror window.
So that creates a unique situation where you could potentially use the Selmos to open up a breachable hole, or you could just fire on through. Kixro perfectly reads into that, as it seems Karn and Co have read into all the sneaky tricks that Wanted Goons have tried to pull on this map, and still staying in the exact same spot is Mendez trying to get a C4. Wanted Goons are still bringing out their unique bag of tricks, and I feel like the longer they try to keep the charade up, the more they're getting punished, i.e. Exige. But there's Mendez. He peeks.
Peeks and scores. Wi-Fi down. A beautiful shot from Mendez, and it could be the kill that they need. You still have Kixro playing below, trying to bait that swing. The feet are showing. His kneecaps are in the vert, but Mendez will live for now. Instead, it's Scoob to go down. Deadly claims Giddy, but Gunner gets the trade. Mendez found outside a bathroom. Now Deadly, all of a sudden, left to his own devices. He has a C4, but it doesn't even matter as Gunner outside on the highway balcony shuts down Mendez, and Wanted Goons are getting shut down on every avenue. 4 rounds in a row. And we're going to need a massive attack from Wanted Goons. We're going to need a big switch up if they're going to try and continue on in this series.
I hate to say it, but I feel like maybe the magic is gone, Adam. Because not basement. Why did I say basement? Defense is where Wanted Goons shine. Because that's where you're going to see your Scoobs make these plays. Your Exeges take these crazy windows. And they got it in the first couple rounds. You know, when we saw this, the spawn peaks onto Giddy, Buck falls very early, but the longer the half went on, we see Karn and Co adapt. We see them put together 4 in a row. As you said, and as the attack, you are going to get punished so heavily if you try to continue to do something along the same vein. They can try it. I cannot stop them from doing that, but I just feel like it might be a dying breath of a hope that Wanted Goons can get something done, send us to Sky, and keep their E2 chances alive.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Skyscraper could be the map that Wanted Goons win, considering the fact that Karn and Co tend to permaban Skyscraper quite often. Obviously, the question is can they get there in the first place? We saw a little of what Wanted Goons can do on Oregon, where they were able to bring the first half to an equal standstill. This is a completely different Wanted Goons. This is not the Wanted Goons that I expected to be fighting Karn and Co today. There is no fight in Wanted Goons in these few rounds that they've had. 4-2 being that split on attack, that's definitely no joke. Karn and Co move over towards that defense where they can control the pace quite a lot. If Wanted Goons get shut down, if Exige on that Ying doesn't get aggressive and force Karn and Co into uncomfortable gunfights, we could be seeing Wanted Goons going home. They weren't supposed to be here at all. They're a qualifier team, and we don't tend to see qualifier teams making runs like this, but it was them in Dilemma that really broke the barriers. It's unfortunate that unfortunate for Wanted Goons that they have to put down the E1 champions if they want to even look to face CLB. This is probably one of the toughest teams in the bracket. They've got a long ways to go for that.
It is it. I mean, game's not over. The clock has not hit triple zeros. The bell is not rung. Wanted Goons still can put together a fight. Karn and Co so far on their defense have done a decent job at wasting time. It's not going to be from those roamers. Mainly just going to be from those 2 barracks who still got a bunch of C4s and 3 smoke canisters. And Wanted Goons don't really have any secret to wasting those out. It's just going to be from their positioning. And so far, it's mainly going to be the Moto Hatch and the main stairs. Are there any blue players could potentially get a pinch in here? Because otherwise, a one-sided attack is going to get picked apart by said C4 and smokes.
Free Candela is tossed out, but it's all for naught as Exige runs in and dies. Giddy inside a Moto. They just simply couldn't get that Moto Hatch open thanks to the Tubarao, thanks to the Kaid. It's just disastrous on this attack. It's not over. 4 versus 5. You've lost plenty of utility, sure. You still have that hatch inside a kitchen open. You still have that main stairs. You still have a way into the bomb site, but it only goes from bad to worse as Gunner shuts down Mendez. 3v5. Wi-Fi and Giddy doubled up inside a Moto, holding Kool-Aid wall. There's really only the hatch drop as an option, but Wi-Fi dies in Moto. It's a good pick from Scoob, but he's going to need a lot more than that. 15 seconds left, and that drop has to come through. Exer has a diffuser on main. Scoob is there for a second, and Deadly kills the player behind AKs. It's a third for Scoob. It's a one-on-one. He has to chase down Karn, but Karn is sprinting for his life. He can't even get to the diffuser in time. 3-speed or not, Karn and Co. They claim yet another round. Wanted Goons, that was the closest that they came to winning a round, and it falls by the wayside. 5-2. The bell starting to ring. Wanted Goons are going to need a miracle to bring this one back.
It's still... You eke it out. And it does not matter how close things are unless you're talking about hand shoes or horse grenades. That is not the saying, Adam.
I messed up the saying earlier.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. is what matters in terms of closeness, especially at this stage in the game. Wanted Goons just need straight W's. They don't care how you get it. As ugly as the round may seem, if it can make them closer to Karn, that's all that matters. And it just gets away from you. I like how good they were at the crossfires and the trades, but sometimes it's just not enough for you. When you're taking ship damage from the C4s, from the smokes, from these drops that are a little bit hasty due to the fact that, you know, you don't have a lot of time and a lot of utility to really work with on the drop, it's only natural that the defense is able to come away given the advantages that they have in their utility.
Utility, positioning. Karn and Co have got it on lock. Wanted Goons are now put onto that position where they need to play counter. They need to counter strat in some way. Maybe that comes in the form of Scoob playing Operator of the Week, playing Cali. EC wall attempted to get open. Not sure if it went down. Gunner has the Tuberau, so I'm sure that they made it very difficult. And, well, there it is. Wi-Fi places the bandit battery down, and that exothermic charge is gone. That is a big piece of hard breach utility removed from the equation. You still have the ace to open up the jacuzzi wall, and that's exactly what they'll get done. But that is certainly not the best of starts. They do get the mirror window, I believe, and Scoob gets a kill onto Gunner, so as I hold my tongue for a second, Goons have an advantage.
Somebody's able just to find one. I don't know how he does it. He manifests players to walk in front of him, and he finds the kills, and it's on to Gunner, who is the leader in kills. Him and Kixro have been really the ones leading the charge when it comes to kills, and other than Gunner, you just have Karn inside of Logi. Wi-Fi over by those red stairs. Those two players are really going to be the barrier in between Wanted Goons and the actual site itself, and Cali doesn't get anything. It actually is taken down by Wi-Fi. Your long-range gunner is gone. Thermite has fallen. Karn and Co put themselves ahead in the man count and keep themselves ahead of this attacking team.
4 versus 3 now. Wanted Goons are going to need a huge play, and you might have that coming up the main stairs. Doubling up with him is Exer outside of Jacuzzi. Certainly options here for Wanted Goons, but they're starting to run dry. And as Giddy takes the head off of Exer, Exige falls next. The Hound boys are down. It's just Mendez. He gets 2 down, though. It's a 1 versus 2. Now trying to find the player that downed, or sorry, rather killed Exige outside of Jacuzzi. Is that player inside of Gym? A swing here. It's not found. Mendez in between both players now, holding that cross. And as Giddy takes down Mendez, the bell is tolling. We're starting to see the end of Wanted Goons 4 rounds in a row. That's the task here for Wanted Goons if they want overtime.
Long way to overtime. 4 rounds, and it's going to start on CCTV cache. We see the Kaid. We see the Tuberau. So that breach is gonna be that first obstacle that Wanted Goons have actually struggled with. We have seen how Karn and Co have used the 2B and any breach, whether it's a Mew, whether it's a Bandit, whether it's a Kaid, to make getting any of these walls open the hardest thing in the world. And require somebody like Deadly to go underneath, use that skeleton key to open up the floor and make it so that Gunner and Wi-Fi can actually get the Electro Claw and the Zoto on there without it being shot from underneath, or you just go hunting for somebody who will most assuredly be relying under. I'm keeping my eye on Kixro because I think he can be one of the first engagements that we see and potentially can just shut Wanted Goons out of the round entirely. There's a lot of variables into what can happen. The Tuberau, the Solus, like I mentioned. But Wanted Goons need to perfect everything if they want to continue in E2.
It's not going to be easy when you have one of the best operators to be released, probably to date, on Tuberau. Arguably better than Release Lion, Release Ella, all those operators that come to mind. You have... He's impressive, man. I don't know. He's pretty impressive. I mean, we saw it literally come into effect in the previous rounds where Wanted Goons couldn't open a hatch on Oregon. They couldn't open the CC wall. It's not an easy operator to counter. There's not a lot of ways around it. So you're going to have to work with what you got. And so far, Karn and Co have been playing to that Tuberau to perfection. I will say Tubarão does require a bit of teamwork to maximize the effectiveness of that operator. But we're at this point in T2 where teamwork is a given. And Gunner, he knows he has a team behind him that he can probably utilize to great effectiveness, that Tubarão. And there it is. It's going to deny the ace charge on that CCTV wall, and he can just stall that wall for as long as possible.
I think we see the electro clock connect. Can't say for certain because the Zoto canister, I think, actually technically denies the electricity overall, but Wi-Fi does not have an electro claw anymore. So they could play the shuffle where, you know, Gunner throws the Zoto, Wi-Fi picks it up, tosses it back down. We could see just very, very fun. Interesting to note, though, Karn go up left, Raptors empty, and Scoob is able to connect. A dangerous game, but Scoob makes Raptors open, and that is huge.
Not supposed to win that gunfight. That's supposed to be Carnage B winning that 9 times out of 10. There's the trade, though. Deadly goes down, so you at least equalize, but that is a big position opened up for Wanted Goons. Getting rid of the player inside of Raptors, and then the Tubarão as well. It's absolutely huge. Wanted Goons have maybe found a way into this game. Exige trying to get that plant down, not denied by the smoke, but maybe by the Solus. Kixro can't find that kill, and that's crucial, as Exige is still alive with that diffuser. Gonna plant now on that CCTV window with 55 seconds left. Karnico now forced into that retake. Giddy tagged up and downed Mendez for a second kill, but planting over the open floor, Kixro just impacts Exige. Diffuser's down, 2 versus 3. Kixro now Wi-Fi walking up red stairs. Kixro goes down, it's just down to Wi-Fi. 1 versus 2, revolver in hand, but he can't find anything as Mendez swings onto red and denies Wi-Fi. CCTV successfully attacked by Wanted Goons, and a lifeline gifted to Wanted Goons, as they're going to need a lot more than that. They're going to need 3 more rounds to try and equalize. That's a good start.
A win is a win, no matter how rough. There were some definite hurdles from Wanted Goons there, but get the win. Focus onto these difficult sites that are going to be coming up. You're going to have basement and gym, and the swaps onto the ram and the sledge. If they do end up sticking that, I'm a fan, because it opens up the time that ram actually gives you, because with that long hallway in between the outside and bathroom, you can literally just put a boogie on there, bam, it's all opened up, and the defense aren't going to have as much space to work with if you're somebody like Tubarão. If we see somebody like Karn, who plays behind the AK racks a lot of the time, those are scenarios of which Wanted Goons can do, but they have to make sure that they get to that area without anybody else dying. And hell, maybe even taking a member of Karnico with you. That is the ideal situation, but as we've seen, a lot of times Wanted Goons don't get their ideal. They get it through scrappy plays, you know, barely bloody and breathing, but they are still breathing at them.
Still a lifeline left in Wanted Goons. Honestly, in overtime might just be what they need. If they can get this onto Skyscraper, and that's when Wanted Goons can really start to release that unpredictability factor. But at the same time, as soon as I say that, Kixro,
no,
he shuts down Deadly. That's the ram gone. That's a ton of pressure removed. That is the stalwart soft destruction for this take. The only player remaining with soft destruction is Scoob. It's a very, very horrible operator to lose at this stage.
I mean, they have the breaching charges. It's like, yeah.
That makes me get C4'd through the floor.
That makes me really sad, because I felt like I'm a believer in the underdogs. I've said that again. And Wanted Goons have a very fun play style that allows you to kind of naturally cheer for them. I mean, they were literally Jake Lucky's Esports Play of the Week. But with that going down, seems like this team is actually not going to try to go for vertical. They're just going to go for blue. And, yeah, we see how that goes.
It cut down. It's just down to Mendez, and Mendez can't find it. Wanted Goons. It's tough to say it. Absolutely gained a ton of fans in this run. Top 8 finish for them in E2. An absolutely unexpected result. Some of us may have expected more. We may have expected the Wanted Goons run to completely shun every other story. This was the story for Wanted Goons. This was the story of E2, but sometimes it's just down to those champions. Karn and Co, they've got the ring, and they're chasing a second. Karn and Co versus CLB is locked in for our second semi-final. I mean, it's basically like what a grand final preview would be if those two weren't on the same side of the bracket. That is going to be an absolute barn burner. You have Nick going up against his old team, but for Wanted Goons, it's their swan song. They say goodbye to Element 2.
Yeah, and we see one more qual team left, which still is very surprising to see. That is Envy on the other side of the bracket. So all the qualifier players, all the qualifier fans still have something to look for, but fortunately for all the Gooners out there, they are getting sent home. And are you disappointed with Wanted Goons? Was this kind of expected? I know that they could bring something to the table, but I also felt this was the expected result given everything we saw from them.
I don't think I'm disappointed. I think I'm actually very proud. I think Wanted Goons played lights out. They had an absolutely stellar season. They made a name for themselves, and sometimes in esports and Siege, we forget to just have a little bit of fun. It's a very serious game. It's you play some of these players are playing for their livelihoods, you know? And I think that seeing this new Wanted Goons team is a breath of fresh air, and we absolutely are going to miss them. And all I can say is congrats to Karn and Co. Absolutely. Really well played from them, but Wanted Goons, hopefully they'll stay together. I think that if there is an Element 3, they are most definitely going to try and play in it, and there is nothing that is going to stop them next time. The story is not complete yet, but it may write itself another chapter at some point. But for now, Karn and Co.'s story continues, and our stories fade. Layrose, this was our first time casting together as a duo, and it is the last time that we will see you guys on Element 2. It's a little bit of a sentimental moment for me. I've been working to try and get to T2 for 6 years, and I finally did it at the ripe old age of 20. And Layrose, this is your first T2 cast, so honestly, I'll let you send it away.
Yeah, and
to the desk.
Yeah, yes, we still do have the desk. As yappy as you guys make us look, we are very thankful for you guys tuning in, and for Adam and I, our first T2 foray. It has been a joy to have you guys watch us. Now, for the seasoned T2 members, they get to finish us out. We hope you guys have a lovely night, but make sure you stay tuned in for the desk, and Adam and I will see you hopefully in the next T2 event.
And once again, hearty congratulations to Lightrose and Jasmine for their first foray into Tier 2. But for this game, their names were on the posters. They were Wanted Goons. Karn and Co. found them, ended them, and cashed in the bounty. Their journey to try and repeat as Element champions continues on through this playoff bracket, and now that was Wanted Goons' swan song. They could not do anything definitive in this matchup. We were looking for reasons to be positive, but ultimately, we just found negative after negative, and we're not even talking about their KD, but Karn and Co. made sure that was exactly how this one ended. Seth, there isn't really much else to be said. This was the result we thought was going to happen, and it was really just kind of a matter of time.
Yeah, I think for Wanted Goons, they had brief glimpses of nice individual plays, you know, maybe a little cheese kind of play working out here and there. But I think what it just came down to is this is the playoffs now. Teams are, you know, maybe in the Swiss stage, not trying to show everything, working on some things. Once you get into the playoffs, a team like Karn & Co., a team that's here to win the entire event, they want to repeat as the champion. You know, you're not going to get away with kind of just trying to play the element of surprise. And the truth is that that's just not a play style that you can rely on. You have to be able to play a standard style. And I think Wanted Goons should go back, look at this, look at how Oregon and Clubhouse played out, and realize, hey, we can't always just rely on the element of surprise, because you lose that element of surprise if the other team knows that's the only card you have up your sleeve.
Yeah, and especially over the course of a best of 3 and stark comparison to what we saw in a BO1. Yeah, you can maybe cheese out maybe 3-4 rounds is kind of all you need. Then you win the super expected sites. All of a sudden, you win a BO1. In a BO3, it's a longevity game, and overall, Karn & Co. a lot more solid of a roster. I mean, you've got Gunner playing absolutely lights out, phenomenal play on Oregon, and almost even better on Clubhouse, where he was just seemingly winning rounds by himself, 90% cost, looking phenomenal, and looking like he's going to be replacing Packers Star of what we saw in Element 1, and maybe, just maybe, recapturing that energy and leaving Karn and Co on a deep run.
Yeah, for a team that already proved everything when they won Element 1, to go back and try to find the way to replace the pieces that they lost in the offseason, so far, looks like it's turning out pretty good. Let's talk to Wi-Fi, one of the original pieces from that Element 1 winning roster. Dude, congratulations, and you and I have not gotten the chance to talk yet, so well met, dude. Again, congrats on the win. Talk to me about this game real quick. In a nutshell, you already faced this team once before in the Swiss stage. You come back into it again. They said they were going to play cheesy. They very obviously did. Did you think they were going to be taking this game seriously? Did you take anything from the last time that you faced them into this matchup? What was it like?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're going to take it seriously no matter what, you know. It's Element 2, you know, it's important. But, I mean, last time we played them, you know, we wanted to try Border out. You know, historically, it's never been one of our main maps we played. You know, we took the group stage as kind of like more of like a learning like process. Like we wanted to try different things out, different maps. You know, it obviously didn't work then, but when it really matters, you know, pull out the wins. So.
How well do you feel like everyone's gelled out so far? Gunnar coming into the team probably was a surprise to some people who didn't think he would be leaving Sonics, but you guys had a job to rebuild on the core that already won from Element prior. So talk to me about how Giddy and Gunnar are working out in the squad.
I mean, Giddy's just a beast. You know, he's coming back after a little break. You know, he won CL, took a break, and he wanted to play again, so we picked him up, and he's just been lights out. You know, he's nasty. And then you know, one day before the whole tournament started, someone couldn't play, and you know, we had to find someone that was good enough, and you know, we were lucky that Sean was available. And you know, we've been putting reps with them just to make sure everyone's on the same page, and you know, it's really starting to come around.
You guys are also no strangers to facing squads that are essentially entirely comprised of Pro League players or people that did play in the NAL at one stage. So the next game you have up on deck, if you want to defend that title, is Certified Lover Boys. One of them is the guy that you won last time with, and the other 4 are ex-pros that all used to be in Tier 1 at some point. So what do you think about that team? Is that going to be one of the hardest teams you've ever had to face? Where do you rank them on a scale of your opponents?
Yeah, I mean, coming into this tournament, we knew that they were going to be, you know, one of the best teams up there with us. You know, we expected to play them in the finals, but, you know, playing them in semis is, you know, it's all right, you know. Got to play it eventually. You know, I love Nick and I love everyone on the team, but, you know, tomorrow, like, we're focused on ourselves, and, you know, when push comes to shove, we're going to win.
Yeah, someone's going to grand finals and someone's going home. Dude, again, congrats on the win. Is there anything else you want to say before we let you go? Any other trash talk you want to offer before we do the interviews later?
No, but I just want to shout out my whole team. You know, they're incredible. You know, Giddy, Karn, Gunnar, and Julian. You know, they're just all incredible teammates. And then, you know, our support staff with Mossy, Vivid, and Royal behind the scenes just helping us out. You know, they're really prepping us.
A lot of class, dude. I'm really sure that they appreciate the kind words, dude. Again, congrats on the dub. We'll see you tomorrow. At least we think we'll see you tomorrow, so don't fess up. We'll see you then.
Peace.
That's it, dude. The stage is already set. There are only a couple of games left. The Goons are out. Karn & Co., Carnage Basketball and Company are still in this fight. Not a single game today required a third map for any reason, and Karn & Co. had the more dominant of the 2 wins that we saw today, Connor. It just feels like business as usual for this squad.
Yeah, I mean, they had a higher caliber players. They had more experience. They went to maps that we have seen all of these players on for generations of Challenger League here. It's just been stage after stage, and we see Karn on Oregon and Club. We've seen Giddy play both of these maps. Wi-Fi, Kixer, Gunnar. We've seen them here, and at the end of the day, for Scoob, Mendez, Xer, Deadly, and Xsiege, it was a difficult matchup. And just overall, when you have 2 players, both Julian as well as Gunnar, popping off like we saw, Gunnar, sure, didn't do that great on entry, but if he was left alive, if he was left to his own devices into that mid to late round, he was absolute class.
Yeah, I think something else of note is just to keep in mind that this team with Gunnar, they keep getting better, right? And we're going into this match tomorrow, which to some may be kind of the finals before the finals, right? The CLB versus Karn & Co. match. There's going to be some interesting dynamics there. Gunnar playing against a bunch of former pros where, let's be honest, on Sonics, he kind of kicked them around a little bit. Now it's kind of more of an even playing field. We have Nick on CLB playing against his former team. Is that a revenge game for him? What kind of insight can he bring to CLB facing Karn? You know, this sets up a really interesting match tomorrow. I'm super excited to see what happens.
No matter what ends up happening tomorrow, we'll put the bracket up so you get an idea of exactly what's going to happen. Somebody who won the Element 1 title will be in contention to defend it again. Whether it's the 3 players and the support staff that are still on Karn & Co, or whether it's Nick on CLB, there will be a guarantee of a title defense in the Element 2 finals. It's just a matter of who and who they're playing against. Envy and SSG Academy will be the first semifinal. The game where I think a lot of people are thinking that's just a warm-up to what is truly the actual main event for tomorrow night. But Connor, on the face of things, I don't really think there's a way you could get a bad grand final out of what we've got left.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, SSG Academy, they're hitting their strides at the right moment. Envy looked so dominant through the regular stage. Sure, they had a slight hiccup against Dilemma, but all of a sudden, they can kind of quell all those doubts and stuff them straight down, stomp on them, and say that, hey, you know, we were 3-0 for a reason. We have not lost a game. And unlike a team on the other side, Karn, they've lost a game. Maybe we'll see double undefeated teams here in the grand finals if CLB are able to use their seed advantage to maybe shut down that defending champ.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see both of these games. I already talked about the CLB Karn matchup, which I think is going to be super interesting, especially in terms of evaluating Pro League talent. But you look at this NVSSG Academy game, and this is where we find out some of these up and coming, some of these players that you haven't been known of. It kind of reminds me of Karn & Co last stage, where yeah, we knew Karn, and in this game we know a couple of players, but a lot of them are unknown. They're hungry to prove themselves, because remember, as I'll keep mentioning throughout the entire tournament, whether it's this one or every other one going forward, there's no promotion directly to Pro League anymore, right? You want to earn a spot in Pro League, which I assume all these players do, playing in a T2 league like this.
You better.
You show out right here. This is your spot to prove that you are better in the competition. How do you get noticed? You win the league, you put your team on the back, you make clutch plays. You show that, hey, all these other T2 players playing against you, they're not on your level. You're on a different level than that. I think we see that a lot with Gunner. He's averaging over 10 kills a map. Let's see that from some of these other guys. I know Finns, Kobe, Trebmac. Those guys have been showing some stuff that catches the eye of other teams. Tomorrow is another opportunity for them to prove that, hey, not am I just the best team, not am I just the best player in Element 2. I'm good enough to be in Pro League. I deserve a shot.
Everything's an interview or a job application, one way or the other, whether it's directly to Ubisoft or another Pro League team to come and try to pick them up. Everything at this stage matters. And everybody at this point so far has won $2,500, but now you're trying to fight for just a little bit more. That amount of money is nice. The grand prize of $10K and actually winning a Tier 2 tournament is coming up in just the next couple of days. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for joining me on this broadcast, and thank everybody behind the scenes for putting this bad boy together. We'll be back tomorrow for the semifinals and Sunday for the grands. We'll see you then.